2024 honestly has been the year of reckoning, and I do love it. Sweet Baby Inc. and all of their ilk has taken a massive loss, and most of them can no longer survive, and that puts a smile on my cold, dead face. Love it!
A former partner of Sweet Baby Inc. by the name of Heart Machine
They're wearing masks. You know it's bad when they're wearing masks.
is still reeling. An indie company that I covered previously that had massive layoffs at the studio is falling apart at the seams to the point of now requiring to find external funds to stay afloat, up to and including opening a Patreon account. And we all know how this is going to go. What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of Smash JT. Heart Machine is in the news for starting their own Patreon account, going forward with Alex Preston, the founder of Heart Machine, taking to YouTube and publishing a video with the somber tone and basically saying, the world's out to get us, everything sucks right now, and we really need money to stay alive.
To be fair, it's true. The world is out to get them. Because the world, as any living organism, tries to expel the impurities. It tries to get rid of the things that are going to harm it. It tries to heal. And these people are trying to damage our society. They are trying to unwove it. They are trying to make every bad thing that we have sought for generations to suppress, for generations to eradicate. They want to push it at the forefront via degeneracy, laziness, self-flagellating acts, and many, many other types of heinous activities, and, just effectively being evil. I have no pity for these people, and I know you also don't, because they deserve everything they are getting.
And gamers are looking at this like, you mean from us? Hit that subscribe, give your like, and check out SmashJT.com for the full article breaking down how Heart Machine has now taken to Patreon trying to stay afloat, when really what I look at with all of this is, it's just more bloat.
Hi, I'm Alex, and I run Heart Machine, and we're here to talk about the Patreon.
Not for long, asshole.
So, state of the industry, not great right now.
That's good.
Games are the greatest form of expression that humans have ever created. There's a common saying in development that it's a miracle.
Well, actually, no. That is not just self-gratifying. That is about, honestly, the amount of self-gratification that I typically expect from these people. That they are the pinnacle of society, that they are the light at the end of the tunnel, that they cannot do anything wrong, and they are doing everything that is best. There is nothing more dangerous in this world than someone who is convinced that they know what's right, that they know what everyone else should follow, that they themselves, especially if they are alone at this, even though if en masse they still are probably wrong, that they know what's best, and you should just fall in line and listen to what the chosen one says.
That any games are made at all, let alone good ones. And now, it's even more brutal. Over the past 2 years, the industry has rapidly changed, flipped around and turned upside down. Funding for new projects is sparse, even for successful developers. Everything is far more expensive to make. Paths we used to be able to take to create projects no longer exist.
I mentioned Heart Machine a few weeks back because their studio was on the verge of collapse already back then, and oh boy, it hasn't gotten any better at all. They're known for titles like Hyper Light Drifter and Solar Ash, but their recent move to launch a Patreon has pissed off quite a few gamers in the community. People are feeling betrayed, and the reasons are pretty obvious as to why. And while their struggles are real and the passion for game development is obviously there with them, when you go to Patreon begging for money to keep a game studio alive, you've already lost. The overall response from the entire gaming community has been overwhelmingly skeptical, and for
Bro, he took down the mask. This means it's serious. Are you feeling how serious this is? He took off the mask. Oof. Man, I think it's serious.
Good reason. After it got found out that they were aligned with Sweet Baby Inc. working on their games, gamers overall were like, okay, that's another company we need to avoid. And because of that, they realized quickly that they weren't making any money on their games, and now they need to go to the very gamers that aren't buying their games to ask for money without getting a game in return. When gamers support creators on platforms like Patreon, they typically expect some sort of tangible rewards that feel worth the financial commitment. That's kind of the point of Patreon in a nutshell. Will there be people supporting for no other reason than just being kind? Of course, there always is that. But enough people to sustain the entire studio on promises? No, like, this is very unsustainable. This situation is very different than the typical YouTuber or artist or something that they're creating on Patreon for fans of them, because there's
Yeah. Okay, I thought that they're like, I have never heard of them. I thought that they're like a group like Sweet Baby Inc., but if this is a game dev studio, what do you mean? How much donations via Patreon do you need to get to sustain yourselves? Like, we're probably talking in the millions. Is this just a scam? Because it kind of sounds like it. Because if they're a legitimate game studio, good luck. Good luck getting enough to sustain yourself for multiple years via Patreon. Like, there is no way that this person even believes that they can't get enough money to sustain themselves. So this makes no sense.
not really a motivation for anyone to give them money, because in the grand scheme of gaming, I hate to say it, it sounds really cold, but there's so many great indie developers out there. Why would you need to support this one specifically when you could support other ones as well that don't need a Patreon to survive?
This makes zero sense. Like, what are you talking about? About resources unavailable? Unavailable? Oh, resources are unavailable. Just make it. You have the software. Your powerless people act like they physically are unable to program, drop, or literally do any work unless they are being paid for it. I mean, that's kind of true. I would honestly expect to be paid for my work if I did anything. Like, like if you have a computer and the software, just work on it and make it. Like, you're not paying thousand monthly to. You're not paying thousand. Oh, that's supposed to be thousands monthly to own the thing that you have. Stardew is a perfect example. Just work on it. Nobody has to pay you to work on a project. You can still just do stuff. It's true, but if you have employees, that's kind of hard.
Add to that I found their post on X promoting the Patreon from about a week ago a tad curious. It has 255 hearts and 3 comments, which tells me they're either botting for attention or they have an audience filled with virtue signalers, which is honestly more likely. But either way, neither one of
Yeah, that does look strange. That's not a lot of comments.
those reasons supports you on a journey. You need people that actually care about your product, your company, what you're selling to them, customers that want you to make something. If you're just saying, hey, we're an indie studio and we're struggling and we need money to survive, gamers going to be like, uh-huh. And why are you coming to us on this one? Like, can't you figure it out on your own? There's plenty of examples out there where single
Can't you just make effectively back BlackRock at this point?
creators, developers created incredible game experiences on their own in their free time after their day job at night, building an incredible experience from one person? And yet we're supposed to look at this and be like, oh no, gamers need to take it on themselves to support this entire game studio of basically bloat for games that nobody's really clamoring for in the first place.
Studios have closed, many have left.
Yay!
And we at Heart Machine are not immune to this, having
Yay!
gone through layoffs in November of this year.
I know it comes across as pretty obvious, but I'm going to say it anyway.
Bro, do they have like one dev? Because I'm just seeing that almost bald guy and this guy with the mask while being alone in a room, which fills my heart with confidence about the future.
Supporting a YouTuber typically comes with a steady stream of content like videos, live streams, bonus perks like behind the scenes access, all built around the core product that you get from the YouTuber. The video themselves. That's the whole point of the Patreon for YouTubers, for example. Now you're taking a different situation of an indie developer and saying, okay, they're going to bring you behind the scenes stuff with game development and lock it behind a Patreon instead of give that to the gamers that want it. It's just, it doesn't translate the same way.
You've likely heard about this on some front.
By the way, this is stupid but doable. You can have a Patreon vault that says, hey, Patreons who give us money can, put input on what kind of stuff you can, just basic voting system. Do you want enemies to be sexy MILFs, sexy teens, or whatever you want? Do you want big booba, small booba? Things like that. But these people are too dumb to do it. It is what it is.
It's grim. 30% of all game developers have either been laid off or had their...
You know what's grim? This.
On some front. It's grim. 30% of all game developers have either been...
Yeah, this is grim. You see that? That's fucking grim.
Laid off or had their roles significantly reduced or affected over the past year alone.
With Heart Machine's Patreon, the core product is vague at best, and in a weird way, it ultimately comes across as begging for money to keep their doors open for no other reason than, trust us, bro, we're good people that just need to survive to make these games for you. And it's like, I can't even keep up with the games that I'm getting from other companies that I care about. Why should we be giving additional funding to this indie company with no promise of anything in return in the long run?
Since the old models are not enough, we have to adapt. So we're asking for support to help us to continue to not just survive, but to thrive. To help us prototype and build new projects, to help support us when the state of the industry has made it so much harder to exist.
Also, it sounds like these people have already failed not one but multiple games at this point, from the context that I'm gathering here. Again, don't know anything about this until this moment. But it sounds like they have already failed multiple times. So what do you mean thrive? You should be saying, donate to us because we want to learn to be better. By saying, donate to us so we can thrive, you're effectively saying, hey, the slop that you didn't eat last time, let me re-fucking heat that bitch. Yeah, not a great plan.
On their Patreon, they promise insights from their development process, exclusive art assets, and discussions about industry turmoil. But the harsh reality here is that games take years to develop, and there's no immediate or even eventual product tied to the financial support. Imagine spending $120 a year as a seeker tier backer and receiving nothing but concept art, design documents, and prototype gifts in return. Cool, I guess.
Bro, I have a $100 tier on my Patreon which literally receives nothing. And everyone knows it. It is what it is.
Yes, but honestly, I'm not seeing this as much of a differentiator in the landscape of great indie devs everywhere else. And then you pair that with the biggest problem of all, the elephant in the room that you gotta talk about. The association that Heart Machine had, at least at one time, with Sweet Baby Inc., and how it hasn't been very transparent how that association went down and went away, if it even did go away, because they're not telling people anything. They're not trying to disassociate themselves with Sweet Baby Inc. and swear them off and say, oh, we made a mistake with this or that. They don't want to cause any ruffled feathers. They don't want to cause any rifts in the industry. They don't want to be blackballed by the buddy-buddy system behind the scenes. So they're just like, hey, yeah, we're not working with them anymore. Trust us, bro. We're not listed on their website anymore. And honestly, with everything that's gone down, why would any gamer give a dime, a penny to any company?
Listen, if a game company asks money from me as a consumer to support them, dude, if they're doing that and they're not hunting in the wild and killing a family of elk, I am not fucking trusting that shit because they're probably woke clowns, okay? If I don't see them pushing and beating fentanyl addicts in the streets of Los Angeles, I don't believe them, okay? You know, If, honestly, would you not give your money to a gaming company that's ad is, hey, times are rough, kills 5 deers. We need a little bit money. Smacks a fentanyl at it. We need your support. Throws a Molotov cocktail at some woke people. That was a joke, YouTube, please, you know. I'm not saying I would give money to that, but I mean that's pretty convincing. That's pretty convincing that's more of along my thinking. Okay, we're gonna steal Bully, the franchise, the IP from EA, I think it was, and we're gonna make Bully 2, and it's gonna be even better. Okay, fucking count me in, chief. Where do I put my money? Okay, where do I put my stolen credit cards in? Oh my god, this is the dream. You know, there's a right way to do marketing, and then there's a wrong way.
Working with Sweet Baby Inc. with everything that's transpired behind the scenes when they're not even getting a game in return in this situation. Sweet Baby Inc. is the consultancy agency infamous for attacking gamers like Cabrutus and trying to get his Steam account taken down for daring to create a curation group on Steam covering their controversial diversity, equity, and inclusion consulting. They are the people behind starting Gamergate 2, and I've covered this previously plenty of times in other videos. Sweet Baby Inc.'s involvement with pretty much anyone has become a death kiss, prioritizing ideological messaging over gameplay and directly alienating core gamer audiences in the process. For Heart Machine, their association with Sweet Baby Inc.
Bro, have we talked about this, that her build literally screams, Bully, that's cool, and now I'm overcompensating?
has led down a road of complete destruction. These are the patterns we're all recognizing along the way, and the outcome is rarely, if ever, positive.
Ever since we got started, back in the Kickstarter days, we've been big on talking directly to our audience. And we think this Patreon is an opportunity for us to do more on this front while also benefiting.
Gamers have grown extremely wary of projects influenced by DEI-driven design, not because they oppose diversity, but more so because the initiative
I oppose all of those things. I oppose all of those things extremely, in fact. Okay, listen, forced anything is bad.
Feel forced and out of touch with what customers actually want to purchase. As one user said in reply to Heart Machine, weird flags don't sell. And many gamers see Heart Machine's Patreon experiment as yet another example of their own misguided priorities and thinking that they're more important in the grand scheme of the game industry than they actually are. And again, I know this sounds really cold to say it, but if you aren't making a product that is driving customers to buy it, then that product is not going to succeed in the grand scheme of the industry. Crowdfunding has long been a divisive topic in the gaming community. Platforms like Kickstarter had once been heralded as a way to empower a ton of indie developers, but years of mismanaged projects and unfulfilled promises have left many people feeling extremely burned. Heart Machine's decision to directly now rely on Patreon feels like an unnecessary and unwarranted evolution of—
Oh god damn it, it's hard to find more daddy issues in one picture, huh?
Necessary and unwarranted evolution of this very same trend, asking for ongoing financial support without delivering any tangible immediate reward. And I get it, desperate times call for desperate measures, and I gotta almost give a shout out to the founder, Alex, putting this forward and having the sob story, sad face, kind of like, oh man, this sucks, the industry sucks, everything sucks, we need your help to survive. Almost like putting a video out there just to tug at your heartstrings and get some tears and get you emotionally involved, just to get you to open your wallet to keep this company afloat. But you gotta take a step back and say, wait, why am I doing this? Like, what am I getting out of this? A game? Maybe?
Nope, nothing. Well, that's the point. Virtue signaling doesn't pay bills, boys, okay? And being actually sold to the virtue signaling agenda and thinking that you're actually doing something good for the world, it pays even less bills. It is what it is. Smash JT 10 out of 10. Bye!